ladies and gentlemen, we would be the first team to talk about consumerism, the other important problem that arises from K-pop industry, and the other actor in this debate, which is equally important, which are the K-pop figures personnel themselves. But before that, we would like to rebut to the opposition side of the house. They said that there needs to be various standards of beauty in entertainment, and we do fully agree with that. But the fact is, K-pop industry is not doing this. They are particularly strict with who they are selecting when it comes to their stars, to their figures. They want their figures to look a certain way. So what the opposition of the house doesn't understand, that this problem is particular towards the K-pop industry. And they also said if people cannot differentiate about sweet dream and reality, then it is their own problem. But that is the power of public figures, ladies and gentlemen. They have their moral responsibility to educate people, but they also have the power to sometimes make things unclear, right? They have the power for people to really adore them, and I will explain to you more about this in my argument. And they also said about beauty standards come from the society and not from the K-pop, and I will explain to you why this is also wrong in my arguments. And let's start with my first substantive, which is why it is justified and why the feminists should aggressively oppose the K-pop industry, right? The reason of this is the K-pop industry themselves are the one who initiate the targeted attacks towards women, especially girls. They are the first one to initiate these attacks, ladies and gentlemen. In the form of what? One of them in the form of consumerism. Look at what they are selling. They are selling their lifestyle, makeup, albums, photos, merch, food such as BTS meal and etc. They are specifically and knowingly, fully aware they target younger girls because they know that they are the easiest to influence. They encourage these girls to buy their products so that these girls can feel that they are trendy, they are up to date, they are beautiful. They feel that certain beauty standard that the K-pop industry created, right? And it also creates peer pressure among girls. Why? Because it creates this fear of missing out mechanism, right? FOMO mechanism. And for example, girls between gangs, they will, if someone doesn't follow, for example, a certain boy band or girl band, they will be condemned as not up to date or haters, right? It creates the peer pressure for them. Or if they don't look a certain way, they will be condemned as not beautiful, right? And so why is this the fault of the K-pop then, you might ask? Well, the K-pop as public figures, as very influential public figures, they have the moral responsibility to educate their fans about self-love, accepting who they are, instead of consumerism, unrealistic beauty standards, making people feel insecure about how they look and how they move. For example, if they cannot dance, or how they look if they are a bit chubby, for example. They have the K-pop have the moral responsibility to educate people to make them feel like they are beautiful in their own way, that they are comfortable about who they are, about how they look. And secondly, for my second argument, why opposing K-pop will benefit our other actor, which are the K-pop personnel themselves. It is in the feminist interest to obviously protect the women and girls from such targeted attacks, but also it is to stop the disturbing, immoral practices in the K-pop industry towards the K-pop stars, singers, or would-be singers. These singers are being pressured to look a certain way in order to get in the industry and to stay in the industry, If they don't look a certain way, if they don't keep themselves very skinny or stay very white, they will risk of getting kicked out and being replaced by newer, younger girls, for example. And so the fact is, these people need to look a certain way, a certain height, a certain skin color. Even some of them need, actually a lot of them need to do plastic surgery in order to fulfill these standards, right? So the thing that the opposition side of the house said about the various spectrum of beauty, it doesn't exist, especially in the K-pop industry, particularly in the K-pop industry. And the thing they said about beauty standards coming from the society, and that is really false. The beauty standards doesn't come from society, not even the stars themselves, but from the industry or from the agency, because they control what kind of people and how they look who they are to enter the industry and to keep them in the industry. Who controls them? It's the industry and or the agency. And the statement that the opposition said about they don't care about beauty standards, they only care about rating, that is completely untrue, because in order to get in the industry itself, the actors, the K-pop singers need to fulfill these standards first, and they are made by the K-pop industry, right? So we want to stop disrupting this immoral practices from the K-pop industry in order to also protect these singers and stars and K-pop stars and singers and would-be stars, right? Because it is in the interest of feminists. It should be in the interest of feminists to also protect these people, because they are also, for example, women. And based on all my arguments and substantive, we still strongly government this house.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as what has been we heard from the opening opposition, that they actually doesn't deliver us, that with the every facts that they deliver is actually the other way around to be debated in this competition. The first statement that OO they deliver us is actually doesn't really concern on what is the problem that's happened into the patriarchal system that attacks by saying the standardization is coming from the other sectors such as Western India or etc. That we know the fact is the K-pop itself affected. And also OO doesn't provide us the factual statement by saying various standard is coming from the K-pop itself. They are invalid looking for what member of government told. Here I prove you. Do you ever see a K-pop girl have a different appearance? Look at how is their skin color. It's light skin, right? Look at how is their weight of body. It's so tiny. Look at how is their shape of face. It's the same shape, right? So by saying their statement is having a various standards is really invalid from the government. So we are questioning your statement by saying a various standardization that's delivered by K-pop itself. Looking the fact that how research prove us into a certain country, the teens girl are fantastic of doing extreme diet. They oppress them. They oppress themselves, and the OO should not able to say it is the fault of the teens itself, not the K-pop failure. Or really wrong by saying the statement, because as what member government have been told you, how big the K-pop powerful to impact the girl or another sides to follow the standard, how huge their femininity to influence and doctrine the girl especially. So it's the reason of why feminism should take a part. OO is irresponsible by saying this kind of statement. And also, going to another point of OO has been delivered. OO also don't give us an effective reason by saying educating the fans is the way then abolish the K-pop industry itself. But how? How would you prove as educating by people, especially the consumption of K-pop, is more efficient? If the K-pop industrialization still exists in the society, if the standards of appearance still being the sale value of K-pop, how should it be happen? So I believe the feminist movement is more efficient to aggressively attack it. And also, OO provide us the self-love that gives by the idol. But it's not the factual that the member of government have been told, have been rebut, looking for at the realistic facts of how the idol reflect their unself-love by doing a plastic surgery, which means doesn't reflect their actions of loving themselves. Looking forward some point that we want to enlarge that from the opening government, K-pop is a trend that's the ideas into united standardization, how people or even men or women should have appearance. The feminist movement itself support to lose this kind of system. My member of government have emphasized how does it may affect positive impact. The patriarchal system that attacks to the men also, that attacks the K-pop members also. That we are the only team that care with such what member of government has been emphasized by feminist movement. It may change the patriarchy perspective towards men, how society comparing Jungkook, Suho or another K-pop with men appearance. This comparison bring the society to make a standard how men will be toxic masculinity if their appearance being like the boy of K-pop. And also, closing government is the only side that argue the feminist movement is also champion towards the actor in K-pop to not be oppressed. We are the only team that clarify the selection system is harmful and oppress the men or woman, especially the girl pop or K-pop. We as the government really believe the feminism movement can free the people which is included in the K-pop itself. Look at how there should to be appear. It attacks their freedom also. So as the feminist movement should very strong aggressively attack this kind of standardization because it stimulates the limitations of how the people should express themselves. And also, we as the closing government also provide how the fanatism that leads the girl or the fangirling leads into a consumptive that's been told and emphasized by my advanced government, how it's being harmed towards the young generation, especially women that doesn't provide it, that the opening government doesn't provide it to us, or you only deliver a beauty standard impact without actually looking another side. Looking forward, the last point of that OG delivered, OG also clarify is that the glorification towards society is harmful, but here as the government whip state of why does the feminist should take a part, because opening government doesn't really link in the glorification between the feminism movement. It's because the glorification and a toxic doctrinations that delivers from this industry is leading the mental of society harms. The society harms, how they always glorify their idol, how it's harmful to the patriarchal system itself by glorifying an idol, creates a perspective how girls should to be appearance, how the girls should be take actions or their attitude by comparing a standard that's done from the glorifications itself. Those are the reasons we as the closing government should really unique in this debate competition by several arguments that doesn't include and doesn't stated by all the sides. This is the reason of why we should be the winning in this debate competition by our fresh and new logical argument by aggressively oppose the K-pop industry may bring the main purpose of feminism itself to ban the patriarchy, to free the rights of women or men to express themselves through the realistic reasons that we delivered. As the government, we very proud to propose.